Bonsoir mes amis, welcome on board. Just about to commence a flight now. Today we're using a FrenchBee Airbus A350-1000 and she's gonna do non-stop service here from San Francisco to Tahiti, Papit specifically. Papit? Yeah, in Tahiti. We are just about to get started. Another showcase event for you today. We're using a new add-on. It's called it's not FS2 Crew, but it does something similar. It's called Crewmate for the iniBuilds Airbus A350. You can find it as a open source / freeware, and it's available on flightsim.to. That's where I got it. They've got a Discord channel as well. It seems to be pretty new, but I think there's some exciting things in the future if things keep going. So we're going to give it a shot now. As your flight information up there. The call sign's obviously wrong, so I'm going to go change that in a second. And this is me. Welcome back. So, crewmate ini A350. So what that guy does, or what the crewmate's supposed to do, is supposed to take care of everything in terms of pre-flight. This gives me a little bit more time to chat with you guys and in general, well, you see, chat with myself technically. But if you guys get this as a YouTube video, maybe. Basically, it's going to do all the pre-flight stuff that a first officer should do. I'm not very familiar with the flows on a 350, so we're going to try our best. Turns out the lights are by the pilot flying, which I didn't know, which is quite interesting, which kind of also makes sense. But it comes with a small manual, it's self-installed, and it does checklists and everything. So we're going to go see how well it performs on a flight today, just for the departure initially. And then a few hours later, about 8 hours is the flight time, we're going to talk about the how it's going to work on the arrival as well. So hopefully everything goes together well. I've got some peripherals connected, so I've got my own set of flaps and speed brakes. So I'm hoping that it doesn't mess with any of that. And I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how the start sequence works on a 350. You know, usually out on a Boeing family, you tell your colleague, hey, start the engine, and then the gentleman or woman does everything by herself. But I think there's a little bit more of a split here on the A350. So we'll jump into the flight deck. And when we get there, we will get our colleague to do some of the additional work. So before we do go into the flight deck, I'm just gonna let you guys fester for a little bit while I prepare some of the additional documentation that I'm gonna need for the flight today. Ah, great! All my views are now gone. So excuse me 1 second. There we go, in the flight deck. The OIS is now ready for our use. Oh man. It's a completely different sort of there we go. Oh yeah, that should work. So let's get to the jump seat and we'll discuss a few things about the flight. I'm just checking my throttles while we have it. And I'll show you how we're planning on working, and then we'll get our co-pilot to get started on the journey to Tahiti. Alright, so it's time for the iPad. Let me bring that out and we can... This is our flight plan for today. The general idea, of course, being we're going to depart here in San Francisco. I've changed the departure to a Seagull one. Initially they had us flying through some random tracks. Essentially we're going to turn back and we're going to fly a little bit eastbound. We'll follow the California coast before we get to about Santa Catalina Island, and then we'll join an airway that takes us all the way to Tahiti. There's not a lot going on today. Yep, there's not a lot going on in terms of the flight today. It's mostly over the ocean, so it gives us a chance to talk a little bit about what ETOPS is and what ETOPS actually means, and how to plan for it. And our alternate is down here at the Cook Islands. This entire flight is supposed to take us just over 8 hours and 33 minutes, an expected block time of 9 hours. And we'll jump into that again. We'll look at some of the stuff for our departure as we send our colleague out to work. Alright, so I haven't got this up and ready, unfortunately, but there is a little app here that lets me start the countdown timer for 60 minutes. So my colleague is now opening the doors, which you will see here, as you enter the flight deck, and he's gonna get himself seated and get started, which I'm gonna do for myself as well. Let's get into the seat. Alright, first things first, we're gonna take a look at security of the aircraft. Because it's a sim, we're gonna skip this part, or maybe we can actually just pretend to do it. Okay, yay, oxygen mask available, no cigarettes, oxygen mask, okay, good. Equipment, yep, good, everything's great. Next we're gonna take a look at the technical situation for the aircraft. Hydraulics, yellow is slightly on the lower end, but I think we can wait until we get to Tahiti to sort that out. Oil quantity is good. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna service hydraulics now. It's been requested, hopefully that'll come up soon. Oil quantity is good, plenty of oil, APA has not been operating, brakes and tires are great, good on the battery, and there's no tech log as such, but generally looking at it, the airplane looks to be nice. I'm gonna load the flight ops status from SimBrief directly, which gives me, which makes things a little bit easier. Here's our OFP, and as far as we're concerned, that's all good, that's all sorted, and my colleague will shortly step out. So we've got the timer running, so there's another 58 minutes of the timer. I'm just gonna go take a look at exactly how the designer has designed this product. So give me a moment, please, folks. It's called Crewmate Ini A350. So it uses it uses the Microsoft Azure. So here it says FO sits down and opens table. So you can see that the table has been opened by the FO. You know what, maybe I shall open the table as well. And it's a bit too bright for me. Since I'm the captain of the plane, I'm going to turn the brightness down. Yep, that's better contrast. And let's see what else he's going to do. So the manuals should have something. I'm just gonna go and take a look, just so I won't be lying to you. When he goes on a walk around, we can talk about how things work on the airplane and what exactly we're doing. Should have spent a little bit more time on the manual before I start talking to you guys, but let's see. So the user manual that you can find on the GitHub repository here. Let's see what the timers are. Is there something about the timers? There's a good diagram of how the flows work, and after the aircraft, flight director. So it does a lot of things that you expect from the standard FS2 crew stuff. So you can do things like but it's listening to me constantly. I mean, it hasn't started listening yet, so I can't say cockpit preparation checklist. So it starts doing checklist on its own. I'm trying to see what it does based on the timer. It's not a very big manual. You could run through it. I don't know why I didn't. Assumptions. You are the captain and pilot flying. Correct. Sound controls how loud and voice sensitivities. Eye settings instructor. Okay. There's no push to talk implemented yet. It's always listening to us. Speaks naturally. Start engine 1. They do it. Okay. Do I start the engines? Oh, I do. Okay, that's news to me. Yeah, so it tells you here on the side what it's doing. So at the moment, my colleague has just lowered the table, and he's gonna get started with his cockpit preparation, and I'll get started with my. So what do we do as a? It's a bit strange because when you're flying on your own, you kind of do everything on your own, so you don't really care about who's doing what. But now that we're actually doing it with somebody who's going to do it, so yeah, here we go. 60 minutes, cockpit door and curtains opened. The pilot monitoring takes their seats at 58 minutes. At 55 minutes, the pilot monitoring starts the preliminary cockpit preparations, and at 45 minutes, they depart for the walk around. At 33 minutes, they return and starts cockpit preparation on their side. And then I'll do the departure briefing, and then we do the cockpit preparation checklist about 20 minutes down. Preliminary cockpit preparation. Okay, so while they're doing the preliminary cockpit preparation, we can do something else. We can get GSX to start loading the aircraft. So let's go on to the OIS, because we're going with a full load of passengers and on FrenchBee that equates to about 400 something pesos. They got 40 seats in premium economy and 400 and something seats in regular economy. So this is a full low cost trip to Tahiti. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's my colleague now doing the fire test, which I always seem to omit to do. Let's go on here. How do I get that started? The load sheet. We're going to import from SimBrief, and we're going to get the ground to start loading it for us. Good. So, well, I like to load the fuel already, because otherwise it waits a long time for the fueling to finish before the passenger's on. So let's set the fuel, and we'll do instant refuel, and we'll set 0 fuel weight. And we'll let GSX pretend like it can do it as well. So that gives us some timings as well. And they're going to request boarding. GSX is commencing its boarding preparations. Good. What can I do? Let me just check my oxygen real quick before we get depressurized. Open that up. Shoom. Tested 100%. Why do people leave it on normal? Okay, good. Oxygen's great. I'm gonna come down here. We'll take a look at what we've got going on. See, the Yankee, the yellow electric pump was on for a second. So that's the cargo doors opening. And what do I need? I need to go down here. I need to go down here and take a look at the status. Aircraft is normal. I want to look at bleed. Okay. And let's look at the air conditioning to see how she's doing. So it's 13 to 14 degrees, kind of chilly. That's alright. Okay. So while that's going on, while my colleague's out and about, I can show you a little bit more about the flight plan itself and what we're expecting to do today. Okay, so the routing itself from, so from San Francisco to Tahiti, and we're alternating. The alternate airport's going to be somewhere in the Cook Islands, Rarotonga, I think it was. An A350-1000, and we're already late for the departure. Well, we're going to be late for departure. Foxtrot Hotel Mike India X-ray, cross index is 59. We're initially going to start at 35,000 feet. It's going to be a flight time of 8 hours and 33. And the routing we discussed already earlier. Let's take a look. It says here ETOPS fuel required. So we're going to take something additional to comply with the ETOPS scenario, which we can talk about slightly later. The call time's a little bit different, so we need to verify that that loads in correctly. It should be Foxtrot Bravo Uniform 80 Golf. So FrenchBee 80 Golf. The takeoff fuel, trip fuel, good, 5% final reserve, and they've added an extra 20 minutes, which is about 2.1 tons of fuel to comply with the ETOPS scenarios. So we got a few ETOPS airports here. If you can look at the map, we started off with our entry into the ETOPS area being Los Angeles, and then we have a choice between LA and Honolulu. That's ETP1. ETP2 is a choice between Rarotonga and Honolulu, and not in fact our destination, because it said that the destination weather was below what we can use for ETOPS minima. ETOPS obviously has higher standards of minima, so you can use it so that you have a decent amount of assurance that you're going to make it. Full load of passengers today. 0 fuel weight is 193, so it's okay. It's actually not showing full, because I can't seem to stuff 400 passengers into this airplane, so unfortunately. It says we can take an extra 26 tons. We're not carrying any cargo. And we're not close to the limits for 0 fuel weight, takeoff weight, or landing weight. So everything's great. No terrain. Terrain checks in fact disabled because they're mostly over the water. What we're interested in is further down here. Runway analysis looks okay. And that's mostly for our takeoff performance. In San Francisco, it's 14 degrees Celsius. It's okay. That's not a problem. Weather's actually quite nice in San Francisco. In Tahiti, at the time of our arrival, which was supposed to be what now? 17:31 UTC. At the time of our arrival in Tahiti, They are just past having really windy showers of rain, so it's going to be a late evening shower, early morning shower in Tahiti. And about the time we arrive, we're looking at, well, still 3,000 showers of rain. So there remains a decent probability of us heading on to Rarotonga. We're not taking additional fuel because the weather events in the sim are not very well depicted. However, if this one happens to be, then we'll probably end up in Rarotonga, which I'm also prepared for. Rarotonga as well has got 5,000 thunderstorm and rain, so there's not a lot of alternates available when we go to Tahiti. And the only way to maybe try get around that is to consider Tahiti as something of an isolated airport, especially for aircraft type. I mean, if you're flying an ATR, there's plenty of places to go to in French Polynesia, but not for us today. The same thing exists in Honolulu as well. Vicinity, showers of rain, 6 statute miles. Still okay. Rarotonga. Okay, in general, things are looking not terrible, not great. And let's get back to the OFP. Our charts. We'll set that up for departure. In terms of weather, we can take a look at the ATIS. There's no VATSIM ATIS, and we're connected to the VATSIM network today. The real world ATIS, though, is available to us. It's quite a dry day, 15 degrees, -03, so it's not very humid. Departing runway 1 left. 28 left and 1 right are closed. So 1 left for us is going to be... Where's 1 left? 1 left, 1 left, 1 left, 1 left. There it is. So it's not a long taxi for us. It's a bit of a shorter runway, so let's see how that takeoff performance works for us. 290 at 11 would mean that ideally we'd be departing runway 28, but I understand that they have some concerns for noise maybe at night. So let's see. Good. Taxiways... Foxtrot 2 is closed. Where is Foxtrot 2? Not in our direction of travel at the moment, but if we go somewhere else, there's Foxtrot. The Foxtrot 2, yep, Foxtrot 2, that's the intersection for 28 left is closed. Golf closed between 1 left and 1 left and taxiway Lima. Golf. So this is taxiway Golf, and that's closed between 1 left and Lima, so the entire stretch day is closed. Hotel is closed between 1 left and 1 right, so that's hotel, that bit is closed there as well. And runway status lights out of service. San Francisco VOR out of service. And we'll contact 121.8 for departure. That's quite a mouthful. Parking Grey Gate, Airport, SID, and Seagull 1 departure. But this Seagull 1 is actually out of runways 1 and 28, so it's actually applicable for both. Runway 1 departure is going to have good views of San Francisco, but it's actually kind of dark out there, so we might not see much. But let's see. So runway 1 gives us a takeoff distance approximately 2,600 meters, the longest one. Is that the one that was open? 1 right is closed, sorry. So 1 left will give you about 2,300 meters. For an 8-hour flight, I think it's satisfactory. But we could etch out a little bit of additional performance if we get one of the 2.8s. But let's see. That's most of San Francisco covered. Let's get back to work. I can tell you now that the crewmate is doing the preliminary cockpit preparation. We got 46 minutes to run, and I am gonna go in and get started on the McDo. Nav accuracy upgraded. Okay. A350-1000 Trent XWB 97. Okay. Nav database, find there's no fuel penalties, Dates correct, no pilot stored element, align IRS. We're going to clear this, and we're going to start with the overhead. Oh, it's already aligned, okay. Oh, it will be aligned shortly. Good. And let's move on. We're going to request the company for a flight plan. And let's insert that. So FrenchBee Golf, that's it. Alternate, no alternate routing. We can set that up later. 5926 waiting for station. That's good. Let's get the wind, climb wind, cruise wind. All the winds are in as well. Pretty happy with that. And departure. So that's something we'll go ahead and set runway 1 left initially with 2,300 meters. Departure is a Seagull 1, and we're transitioning to Young. And TAF, yep, there's a you see it's not a very long flight plan. You have huge distances, 573 miles, 500 miles between waypoints. You know, it's one fuel check, not even an hour, I guess. And then TAF is actually the VOR at Tahiti, from where we'll set up an arrival. We'll insert that plan. Fuel and load, we're still waiting for the preliminary brief. We're waiting for the load sheets to show up. So we'll come back to that after as well. And takeoff performance, also waiting on the load sheet. So while we wait for all of that, we can go to the secondary flight plan. Pardon me. Secondary index. And we can import the active flight plan. That's the secondary flight plan. We need to discuss something we can do in the event of engine failures on the lot. So let me bring you back now onto the iPad and what would be a good idea to do for runway 1 left. We'll also set up the arrival with a departure for runway 28. Maybe they might give it to us. 28 right, ILS Yankee approaches in use, so we can probably expect 28 left, if anything. So let's talk about that. Runways 1 don't really have any approaches. Usually I'll use the missed approach for the original runway as sort of the departure end of it. So runway 1 straight out. Actually no, there's no terrain issues. So for runway 1 we could just carry straight on, you know. That's going to be our engine out procedure. We'll carry straight on and we'll turn towards maybe... Well, okay, at some point we'll go to we'll just maintain radar vectors, declare emergency, and then we'll come back for runway 28 right. I think that's the best choice to make for runway 1 left. And we'll set that up here. After SETB, for example, we're going to set up a new destination. The new destination after SETB is going to be San Francisco again. And we'll set up for the arrival ILS 28 right. Via what? Actually, I don't know. ILS approach 28 right will be... Folks, you're probably more familiar with this airport than I am then. We'll call it via Archie, because that gives us the longest track miles. In case we're not ready, we can sort that out. So that is it. Secondary 1 flight plan is prepared. Let's go ahead for secondary 2. Let's import the active and let's change something about it. Let's go to the initialization of secondary 2. And can I change departure? No, I can't. Okay, so that doesn't make much sense for me then. Secondary index, let's go back to secondary 2. And we can go to flight plan, San Francisco 1 left. We can change the departure to runway 28 left instead. Still the Seagull 1 departure, transitioning to Yang. This is set up for runway 27 left, and we're going to clear this transition. We'll delete that. So secondary 2 is for runway 27 left. So if something happens, we'll go on to secondary 2. Now the last secondary we want to work on is secondary 3. And we're going to import the flight plan for secondary 2. And I'll bring you all back to the iPad here, and then we can come up with a engine out procedure. So it's going to be 28 left. What do they do in case the ILS goes missed? Straight on San Francisco VOR, and they have to thread this gap, which is at 500 feet. Ooh, which is a bit nerve-wracking to do when you have an engine failure, but 275. So yeah, okay, that's the plan. We'll do heading 275, and then we'll track 275, and let's go to Stiller, and then we'll hold there for the engine out. So this is good. 28 left, and we're gonna go. What if we have an engine out here? Return. Okay, don't worry about that. How do I set up the engine out procedure? Well, this is actually a little bit more difficult than I was thinking. 513. And a next waypoint. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna... Well, the VOR is out of tune as well. So I'm gonna use... the fixed page. How do I get to fix info? Oh my god. Actually a little bit more difficult than I was thinking. Jesus. Is there not a fixed info page on this aircraft? Position. Monitor, navigates, IRS, Genesis time, data maybe. Yeah, let's go to data. There we go. Waypoint. Pilot stored waypoints, and we're gonna make a new waypoint. We're gonna call it the EOP for runway 28 left. Good. And that's gonna be based on... That's gonna be based on the San Francisco VOR, which is technically out of service, but we're gonna use it anyway. Gonna be on radial 275, and let's head out 20 miles. So this is where we go to in case we have an engine out. Now I need to find fix info EOP 27. Oh, did that not work? Flight plan info, fix info. You know what, let's go SFO again. Radial 275. And a 20-mile radius. Okay, cool. That's there. And does that show somewhere? Yes, it does. So if you look at our flight plan there, you have a blue ring at the around it. That's the 20-mile ring. So where that intercepts with the blue line is 27520. So once we're on our way there, we'll set it up and sort it out. So and that needs to be inserted as a waypoint in secondary 3, which is a lot of work. Whew, that took way more time than I thought it would. In the meantime, let's get this maps loaded. And I'll tell you where my co-pilot is at the moment in his flows. 36 minutes out. So I think they might be ready for... well, they're going to start the cockpit preparation checklist. Sorry, preparation on their side. Let me finish up. So I'm not still talking. And we haven't reached anyway. Sorry folks, I spent a long time trying to figure out how to insert the waypoint, and you didn't even get to see. So we're gonna skip past that part and you'll be able to come here. So anyway, I've managed to get San Francisco VOR radial 275, 20 nautical miles out, and you can see it on my colleague's side. That blue line is for runway 28 left and engine out procedure. If we need to, we'll intercept radial 275 from San Francisco. And we'll head out to 20 miles, which takes us over the ocean. Good. Back to the OIS. And let's get... well, it's starting to rain here. And let's get the weather from San Francisco. Yeah, it's going to be 15 degrees, altimeter 3006. Altimeter 3006 is on the captain's side. (3006) on the colleague side. What does that correspond with? That corresponds with QNH 1018, so let's go ahead and set that up. Alright guys, give me a second. My dog's scared of lightning. Thunder. Becky, okay? Okay. Sorry. There's nothing going on here. My dog's a little bit, you know, most dogs scared of thunder. Have you heard it? Even through the stream, Boomy Girl. It's not a Shahid. I hope not, at least. Alright, so I need to figure out what the cockpit preparation looks like as a captain. So I'm gonna assume... Let's go to the overhead panel. Let's run our way down. Good, 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 good. All the lights are on me. Everything there looks nice. And let me just take a look at the manual, what it says. Okay. Cockpit preparation. CM1 actions and PF actions. So I go up and down. Across, down, which I did already. And then I did that as well. And we're just looking to do the MCP. So we just need an engine. We just need an initial climb velocity, which is assigned by ATC, but I think 5,000 is a good number. Let's go up to 5,000 feet, and then we'll sort that out after. Good. I'm gonna look once again at the aircraft here, load sheet, and we'll load up based on these numbers our flight plans. So we have 193.1 as the their fuel weight, and we're showing a DG of, oh, it's still loading. Okay, so we're not gonna get it until it finishes loading. Okay, so we're still gonna have to wait for that then. But we can use the OFP flight plan to figure out the weights. So we're gonna have a takeoff weight of, where are you? Times and weights. We're gonna have a takeoff weight of 263.9. Honey. We're gonna have a takeoff weight of 263.9, and we're gonna sync the FMS. 01 left, and we're gonna sync the weather. And we'll, in HGS meters, tons, 263.9 is what we're expecting to depart with. And we can compute how it's going to work for this runway. So flaps 1 plus F, toggle, so it's full thrust, of course. What happens if I use flaps 2? Does that help? Maybe we can reduce the thrust. I'm still toggle even with flaps 2, but I prefer that. And I'm quite happy with these numbers. I'm gonna send this to the FMS shortly. But first we're going to input our planned weight. So estimated zero fuel weight is 193.2. Let's go ahead and put that up in the MCDU. 193.2. Fuel and load. 193.2. Block fuel, which we have now already, is 71.3 tons. The expected passenger number. Oh gosh, I need to remind myself. We are expecting a full flight, 367 passengers. Hey T-Bone, what's up? 367 passengers. Don't have a zero fuel weight yet. The minimum fuel at destination, will come back and sort that out just now. And let's go to fuel and load. Yep, actually right here. The route reserve today. Back to the YS, I guess. Route reserve, fuel and summary and fuel. There we go. Route reserve 2.538. That's gonna make it 2.6 for myself. The alternate, something else we need to look at. 9.5 to Rarotonga. And the final reserve is 2.6. So I made the route reserve, I made an error with the route reserve, 2.6 here. The route reserve is actually going to be 2.7. which corresponds with their standard 5%. So it decides that the minimum fuel at destination is going to be 12.1. Does that make sense with what we have? Minimum fuel at destination 12.0. We're pretty happy with that. And let's carry on. Departure and takeoff performance. Let's accept the takeoff performance that we had calculated. Takeoff performance, send that to the FMS. And we'll go ahead and confirm the takeoff speeds. 145, 148, and 160. 145, 148, and 160. For runway 1 left, it's a Toga with packs on, anti-ice off. Thrust reduction, acceleration. We'll come back and monitor that because there needs to be maybe a change. And we need to decide what the THS is going to be for. There might be a little bit of change with the thing. 737-900s, hey, I'm pretty good. Yeah, the 737 is pretty nice. I wouldn't recommend anything else at the moment. It's pretty standard plane, especially if you're kind of new to the whole simming thing. It's a good, easy plane to work on. And as you go further, you'll find some planes are a little bit more complicated than the others. I think the 320 family is a little bit easier than the 737, but you kind of have to have your head around automation. We're going to go and look to see if there's any noise abatement stuff required here in San Francisco. What does mode do? Can I change it to hectopascals? No. Okay, never mind. Very nice. There's a company message for me. Let's go see what the message is. What is the message? Bet. Depends on what you like, man. What kind of planes are you into? Are you enjoying the 737-900? I don't particularly enjoy the 737. It's a nice plane, just not for me. Where can I find the company mail? It's on mailbox. How do I get there? Mailbox. There we go. We need to click mailbox. Mailbox shows up. Where? Mailbox. Where do I find company message? ATC com maybe. Message record. All messages. Ah, here's a preliminary. Ah, there's a final load sheet even. Alright, let's see what the final load sheet has to say. Takeoff weight 231.4. And we did our takeoff performance with... That's a big change. 263.9. That's about 30 tons. That's not quite right. I think there's an error there. Yeah, that's all incorrect. You see there, no cargo, no passengers, nothing. So we're expected to see a new one of this one. So a new final load sheet shortly. That came out at 7:59. So that was actually, that message was there for about 30 minutes, and I guess I just didn't see it. Good. Good. Electrical power on, everything's great. So I think I'll need to ask this guy now for the cockpit preparation checklist. Cockpit preparation checklist. Nope, hasn't listened to me. The 777 is also pretty good. The A350-1000 is... well, you have to bind the correct autopilot key, hey? Because all of these different Airbuses have different ones. There's one that says autopilot disconnect, and there's one that's autopilot disconnect toggle, so you need to find the correct key. The 777 is really nice, also a little bit more automated than the 737. It's a nice stepping stone. Obviously, it's a bigger airplane, so that changes things a touch. Just give me a second, folks. I'm now going to run in here, and I'm going to take a look at why the sound voice commands don't seem to be working. Do I not... Oh. Voice sensitivity setting. Cockpit preparation checklist. There's a problem with the device. Removed. Okay, so the FO doesn't seem to be working as I expected it to work. Can't seem to find any volume. But that might just be my error. I'm just gonna go ahead and open my sound settings, see how that works out. It is poor CRM. This O isn't listening to me. Okay, so he's got the right microphone. Right. How long have I been a pilot for? Not long, like 2 years, 3 years maybe. Cockpit preparation checklist. Come on, O. Listen to me. Maybe it doesn't quite get the... Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the manual to make sure I'm doing things right before I start blaming others for my work. I'll leave you with a nice spot view of the aircraft as it gets loaded. Oh yeah, it's an Airbus A350-1000. How nice is it? And I'm gonna go down here and I'm just gonna take a look at where I've messed up. Table of content, getting started. The ENUS voice package must be used. That starts, that could be the problem. That could be the problem. I think I have it in the UK. How do I change voice package now? Two years T-Bone Lep. I've been a pilot for 2 years. It's not that exciting. How long have you been a pilot for? Go to settings, time and language. Speech. English, United States. There we go. Now she should work. Oh, you're not a real life IRL. Boomy Girl's been a pilot for 15 years. What's up, Boomy Girl? Why don't you tell T-Bone about the planes that you fly? Or the computer that you fly? Okay, good. So that is sorted out. So it's now set to English, United States. Okay, good. So that should now help the cockpit preparation guide to work. Let's try again. Cockpit preparation checklist. Cockpit preparation checklist. Now, yeah, I'm gonna restart that. And hopefully it works better, but I'm not gonna have him do the whole spiel. So we're just gonna try to rush it a little bit. Alright, man, we'll see you 2 hours later. I won't be here 2 hours later. If I manage to depart, great. But catch me for the arrival. That's gonna be about 7 hours in, so hopefully you have a free day. I don't actually sit around for the whole flight. It's a long thing to do. Why are you telling me safe flight, Boomy Girl? Are you leaving as well? Cockpit preparation checklist. Cockpit preparation checklist. Okay, you know what? Davis, output has been realized. Sound sensitivity. Okay, so it seems that it's not actually hearing me. Let me try again. Cockpit preparation checklist. Can you guys hear me say cockpit preparation checklist? Alright, so that's not working for me, unfortunately. So it's back to me being all by myself, which means the boarding should almost be done. No, we still have quite a lot of passengers to board. So that's a problem with having 367 dudes. So let's say that we try to do the checklist on our own. Where is the checklist button? There it is. I remember it being here. Checklist menu. Cockpit preparation. So we'll do that just now. Or do you think I should give the guy another shot? I mean, I would like to see him try to sort it out. I can't give a poor review for a product, especially if it was my fault, right? So we specifically said the ENUS voice package must be installed to use the voice package. So it must be installed. Is it not installed? Okay, guys, we're gonna do some more troubleshooting while the passengers board, and then we'll finish up with our speech. Choose a language. Yes, yes, yes. Install voice package. Let's add it. Yep, that's the problem. It wasn't installed. When it was just there, it's not installed. But let me see if we can find English. Well, that's a weird thing. I don't have English United Kingdom. I mean, United States. I only have Ireland and all that. So that's a bit weird. A B C English United States. Slovenian. Okay, so it does say English United States there. And it's an installed voice package. That's probably why it shows up. It is installed, but I don't know why I won't use No, I don't like Zero. Let me try David. I like David. David sounds like a nice, strong gentleman. Okay, so time and language. We have speech, English, David, and I can't seem to remove voice packages, which is interesting. Okay, let's give it another shot. It's called crewmate. I'm gonna run him as an admin this time. Hopefully that works. So he's got the aircraft cockpit preparation checklist. No. Well, it seems it's not actually using the it's not actually using my voice. So what about if I say removed? Removed. Okay. So that's something I need to figure out later. So it's a bit of a shame because I was quite excited. Is it heavy rain? Okay, guys, give me a second. You can look at the thing here, and I'm gonna go outside, check out the window. Alright, I can say I got some light sprinkling of rain, but there's no heavy rain. So yeah, that's the situation. So Boomy Girl, what would you have me do? Would you Cockpit preparation checklist. What would you have me do? Would you have me carry on trying to get this guy to work, or shall we just call it a day and then hope for the best next time? Oh, I can change that. Technical difficulties, but you see, there's still a lot of time for us to board the airplane, so I think I'm gonna give him a few more turns, and hopefully he comes out with something good. Fix it, right? Because it's a brand new add-on, and the guy seems to be doing a really good job. So let's see. Cockpit preparation checklist. I just feel like I'm screaming at you guys the whole time. Cockpit preparation, cockpit preparation. Let me go back into his GitHub and see what's going on. Cockpit preparation checklist. No. Ah, okay, hold on a second. So I need to lower it. Cockpit preparation checklist. Nope. Cockpit preparation checklist. No, so I need to ENUS must be installed to use the voice engine, which I have done. Well, this is becoming an extremely long, technically difficult stream. But at least it's still boarding, so we still got time. I speak in English, United States, yeah. Right. But as far as I can see, it's not even using my microphone. Hello. Cockpit preparation checklist. No. I can't seem to figure out what's going on here, so we're going to see how many more passengers are left to board. How many more? Good lord, another 130. Okay, so we still... You know what? Before we come back and start playing with this guy again, let's do a briefing. Un briefing. Oh la la. Good. So we had a bunch of ideas for the airport. So let me get some terminal charts loaded and ready for us here at San Francisco. This is the San Francisco Bay Area. Come on, load the chart. Pretty much all modes of arrival are available except for runway 01 because it's got this terrain here, which is also going to be our biggest threat today. If we were departing runway 28 left, but based on the performance, we're going to go one left and we're going to go over to the Oakland side, and then we'll make a nice visual sort of departure through night Santana, and then we can get some nice views of San Francisco as we go along. The plan for the taxi, we're parked here in one of these terminal bits, terminal 1, oh sorry, with the international terminal around here. We're going to get to push back down this alley, which is Mike 4, Mike 5 and Mike 3. And then we're gonna go taxi down Mike 2, Bravo and Mike 1. This little bit here reminds me very much of Tel Aviv Airport. Mike 1, we're gonna go full length, and we're gonna specifically ask for full length because I think we've done them we've done them a favor by being able to do one left. Anyway, Seagull 1 departure, RNAV, GNSS, GNSS is required, DME, or the initial reference unit. RNAV 1 only, jet aircraft only, and radars required if we're not GPS equipped. We are GPS equipped. As you can see, the departure takes us out on a heading of 014. At 520 feet, we go to Sepdi, and then we turn towards Senzi, towards Whammy, which doesn't take us, unfortunately, by this area. So what I'm going to do is, if there's no traffic, we're going to carry on our departure, and then we'll do a nice loop around the sites in San Francisco. So I think that's Alcatraz Island. That's the big one that we want to see. And maybe the Golden Gate, so let's see what that is. This is a fly quiet program. So departures between the hours of 1 and 6 local time are Aircraft are expected to use NADP preferred runways whenever possible. Runways 1 left and right for departure. So that's the channel they want us to use. So they don't actually want us to fly over. So that's sort of what they want us to do. So we need to actually find a departure Turns that penetrate the shaded area are considered marginal. Turns west of the shaded area are rated poor. So you need to make this sort of a turn. So we need to be quiet, hey? So we'll do this, and we need to find a departure that actually does that for us. Cystic, nope. Ah, the nightfall. Literally says night. Oh, there we go. That's the one we should be doing. The night 4 departure that takes us towards Gobs, and then we'll find a way from Gobs to the next waypoint. So I need to change that for us. It's gonna be cleared, and we'll change that in the McDo as well. Flight plan. San Francisco departure. Still runway 1 left, yeah. The departure is gonna be the night 4 departure, and we'll transition to... There's actually a lot of options here. Deadhead, Gertful. Did the OIS show us those options? Ah, yes it did. These are all the ones that are northbound. We want the only one that's in our direction, which is Gobs. So that's a Gobs transition then. We'll insert that in a flight plan. Our speeds still remain. And in terms of noise, let's reduce thrust at 810 feet. And we'll accelerate at 1510. Don't know which NADP that is, but I think that'll be nice and quiet. So as soon as we're airborne, we'll reduce the thrust, and when we get to 1500 feet, we'll accelerate, and then we'll climb out on that departure. I think that's quite a nice idea. Engine out procedures. We discussed that for runway 01 left. We're just going to maintain runway heading and request radar vectors. I mean, obviously, we can carry on the night departure because that actually takes us clear of the city and all the terrain as well. So we could continue the night departure all the way to Gobs and then probably hold at Gobs or find something to do. And then we'll come back for the arrival into 28 if things hit the fan. If shit hits the fan, I mean. What else can I tell you? That's all I can tell you. In terms of OFP again, weights. We are departing. Takeoff weight 263.9. Maximum landing weight is 236.0. So we're a little bit above maximum landing weight. Not a big deal. And another 100 passengers to go. I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe it. There are so many passengers on today's flight. They all want to go to Tahiti. And are we delayed? Yes, we're already 11 minutes late, and we're going to put all of that delay onto boarding and technical difficulties. Cockpit preparation. Cockpit preparation checklist. No, just not listening to me. Cockpit preparation checklist. Yeah, we're gonna exit it again. And actually, this guy was quite active on Discord the other day, so maybe he might help me. Tips and troubleshooting. Adjust. Check that your microphone is selected and working. Obviously, it is because you guys are able to hear me. But what if I stop my microphone working here on the stream, and then maybe it'll work on the app. Let's see if that works. Oh, no, that's a no. Still not working. I think, yeah, we're probably experiencing light technical difficulties with this app, but hopefully we'll sort it out some other time, because right now I think it's inappropriate. Maybe if I change the display language. No. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. It seemed like a good app that we cannot be using today. Before start checklist. No, none of the checklist works. Okay, so unfortunately that's a no-go for me for today's flight. And we'll just do the checklist on our own. I think I've resigned to it now. As a checklist menu, let's do the cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins and covers. On the walk around, I saw they were removed. Fuel quantity. We have 71.3 tons. That's in. The seatbelt signs remain off. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt signs on. Barrel reference. QNH. Sorry, yeah, QNH 3006 inches of mercury. 3006 inches of mercury there as well. And 1018 is the converted. Barrel reference is set everywhere. Checklist complete. It's neither an MEL or CDL. What do you mean? What do you mean? You mean the first officer? He's just gone, man. I mean, he's not even involved now. I'm not sure why the ET says 1 hour 8, and they've also got the wrong call sign. Let me change that. Is there a way for me to change the call sign? I'd like to override it. Yeah, so the call sign's not actually Foxtrot Bravo Uniform 711. The call sign is 80 Golf, I think. Let's see if that comes up correctly here. Yep. A Foxtrot Bravo Uniform 80 Golf. FrenchBee 80 Golf. And let's go ahead and set up my comms as well. 122.8 is active. 1215. All good. All set up. Auto ATC for the United States has said, there doesn't appear to be a controller providing clearance delivery service at your departure airport. Set squawk 0640 for your IFR flight. Okay, so 0640, how do we set that? There it is, 0640 set. Back to VHF. And how are we doing in terms of passengers? I hope most of them are now on board. Oh gosh, another 62. This is literally the slowest boarding I've ever had in my life. I've done literally everything we've tried to make. He's probably on strike. Oui, c'est vrai. He's on strike. He is French, you know. Let's see if we can find this. Okay, settings, microphone, under apps. That's the thing, I just don't find this guy available. No, not sure what's not sure what's going on, but same. While we wait, there isn't much to do. We discussed already the taxi. I think it's now time to turn on the APU. So the master switch can go on. And we can start the APU. How long is this going to take? Another 34 passengers. Oh my god, I can't wait till they're all on board. This has got to be the longest boarding ever. In the meantime, maybe I can tell you about some cool things about the A350-1000. Get them tight. Excuse me. So the Airbus A350-1000, obviously a stretch of the 900. Cool things I like about it, despite the 900 having only 2 bogey gears, this one has 3, so it can spread its weight across a little bit more. I believe the engines are uprated, the wing box has been strengthened, and the wings are in fact just a touch longer. And it's designed to compete with the 300ER. It's got pretty massive range, honestly. I know Qatar Airways flies them from Doha to Dallas. I think they also fly them from Doha to Auckland. So this is essentially a replacement for the 777s, a more 2010s replacement for the 777s. And if you're, I believe the 777-300ER is what's being targeted by the 350-1000, and the 300ER has been around since 2005, you know, so yeah, pretty cool plane. I'm excited to have this on board, and we tried to start a flight yesterday, but we had a WASM crash where all the screens just went orange, and it was quite disheartening, to be honest, because I just got everything started. Here we are with a 24-minute delay, and the last 20-something passengers are going to get boarded shortly. Let's see what we can do in the meantime. Still nobody online. I didn't see anybody as we took a look around. And I think that's it. We're just going to wait for the final flight plan to come up, and we can get going. Let's listen to some music while we wait. Fuck it. Alright guys, I tried my best, didn't quite work out again, so we're just gonna go ahead with what we have, and then see. That's it. Okay, how are we doing in terms of passengers? So I tried something new. I tried to get the headsets on and hoped that that would sort of override the actual microphone here, and then maybe that was the issue because the actual microphone was being used by a lot of stuff. But no, so that co-pilot hasn't worked out. We've got another few passengers to board, and we are late again. How late? About 30 minutes late. I'm hoping at least 30 minutes would be at bare minimum. How much longer? Another 10 passengers to go. In terms of performance, let's take a look here. Oh, there we go, sorry. 30.3, we're going to end up with a 0 fuel weight. Where do I find that? Flight ops menu. Load sheet. Same place, okay. Totals, aircraft eco, bulk. I'm trying to find the takeoff weight. So what's going to come out of it. Let's get our OFP ready. These are our numbers and we should get it on the mailbox here. Sorry, pardon me. We should get it on the ATC COM message records. Okay, so no messages yet, all messages. We should get a company message once the boarding is completed. Everything else is done. Checklist, preliminary. Super. I know we requested for the hydraulic servicing. I was wondering if that is now done. Because then we've just spent a lot of time wasting our time for nothing. So that's hydraulics there. Has that been completed? How do I tell? Yeah, the reservoirs are all green. So yeah, that's good. So hydraulic servicing has been completed. Okay. Let's see. Alright, looks like all the passengers are now on board. Let me just store away. And do we have a... Oh, sorry, that was off the whole time. Okay. Anyway, we were just sorting out the push and start, so I'll just go ahead and say hello now. San Francisco, traffic, FrenchBee 80 Golf Heavy, push and start from stand Alpha 8 onto mic 4. San Francisco traffic, FrenchBee 80 Golf. Right, start sequence 1, then 2. Let's start engine number 1. So we go onto center pedestal, ignition start to norm. It's fantastic, and the Mitarbeiter will go ahead and set engine number 1 to start. Alright, she's spinning. And you can see that happening here as well. Oh, I love the wobble. That shakes my soul, the whole thing. Wow, what a wonderful start. Loud start. So you can see the starter has been cut out here. We're showing 2% thrust. Where's N1? N1 is at 20%, 2, 5, and 6 here, 246. Sorry. Where's EGT? 2, 4, and 6. Yeah, 246. Good start there. We'll go ahead and start number 2 now. Okay, that's the end of our pushback. And they want the parking brakes on. It's set. There she goes. AGT spiking. N1 is at about 13-15%. I feel my boat shaking. It's fantastic. Two, 5, and it's gonna get close to 6. She's available. The start is cut out. That was another successful start. So I'll go here to center pedestal and I'll get the engine start back to normal, and I will release the ground crew. Tell them thank you. Alright, so both sides the engines are clear and our colleague is walking away. We'll just wait for his go before we start the rest of the flow. Okay, we got the wave. Let's get started. Let's start here at the overhead panel. APU please no longer required. The APU master switch off. Let's come down here to the center pedestal where we can arm the speed brakes. Flaps 2 for departure. And I just want to make sure that we have auto brake RTO as well. And that's it. The taxi, I'm gonna stow this. Right, auto brakes 2. Sorry, flaps 2. We're waiting for the cabin and the takeoff config to be tested. We can set the takeoff config now. Takeoff config normal. Let's do a checklist. After start checklist. Anti-ice is not required for today's flight. Flight controls haven't been checked, so let's check those. Let's go ailerons. Full left. And you can see that displays full left there. And you'll see that also corresponds to what you'll see on the left. There we go, full left. Let's check the right side now. Full right. Full left. See the rising. And full right again. Let's do the elevators next. All the way down. All the way up. The rudders left. Rudders right. Right, that's pretty well done there. Flight controls have been checked, ground clearance was received, and the checklist is... just before we taxi, I'll also do the taxi checklist. Flap setting, both of us confirmed they are config 2. The radar is on, and the checklist. Turn down the lights and we can get started. Dome lights going off. Get the floodlights somewhat there. Next stop, Tahiti. Taxi and taxi lights on. Let's advise that we are now taxiing via Bravo. Sorry, Mike 4, Mike 2, and Mike 1. San Francisco traffic, FrenchBee 80 Golf, taxiing to runway 01 left, taxiing via Mike 4, Mike 2, onto Bravo, holding point Mike 1, 01 left, FrenchBee 80 Golf for San Francisco traffic. Alright, they're away. Center pedestal, parking brakes go off. Start our journey. I get to lean back a little bit now. I do love a nice dark flight deck. Taxi checklist. I thought I'd give the guy one last try. Unfortunately, no. Not in my cards today. Turkey. Need to find a way to hold it down with more strength. Nobody's out on my left. Just because this is VATSIM, what we're going to do is we're going to come to a full stop once we get to the holding point, and then we're going to see who's around and what's going on. But great, now they're telling us we got tornado warnings. So that's our holding point, Mike 1. So we're going to go left, right at the end, and then back down. Seems like there's nobody else in close to our area, so we can actually roll through should we want to, but we're not going to. You can see how much brakes I'm using there. 1000 psi, nice gentle. Those are the wigwag lights for the runway. It's not very often that I see them on flight sim, so it's quite nice. Nice gentle turn. And I'm actually gonna hold here because I'm not gonna have the momentum to make that turn and line up. So this is where I'm gonna stop. I'll announce my intentions to San Francisco and we'll get going. San Francisco traffic, FrenchBee 80 Golf Heavy, departing runway 01 left. San Francisco traffic. Alright, traffic is now advised. We have one more checklist to do, and we'll just make sure that's completed. The lineup checklist. Cabin is secure, takeoff runway has been confirmed, both the packs will stay on. Checklist complete. In surveillance, I need to change it to Tara. If she will bother changing for me. Tara, active performance. And that's our turn. Let's make it. Meanwhile, on the overhead panel, this can go for takeoff. Strobe lights can go on. And the wing light can go well. Ladies and gents, the night departure, we are ready to go. Everything green for takeoff. The performance was calculated with packs on, so we're safe on that front as well. What do we need for departure? Some music. Okay, let's take her on the roll. Approximately 40-50% N1. Stable. And Toga, SRS, nav, auto thrust, blue. $100 knots.
V1.
V1. Gotta watch a tail. It's a large plane. It's positive rate. Ooh. What is that? Whoa, 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 whoa. Rusty rated climb. Well, that was quite a swing. Oh, there she goes again. Okay, the autopilot's on. What is going on with the swinging? She's completely missed her path because of that swing. But the engines are stable. The autopilot's on. I think it's got something to do with my control bindings. Specifically with regard to the... Yep, that makes sense. There we go. That should work better. And if I disconnect the autopilot now... Yep, so it was a control binding issue. Alright. Let's clean up the flaps step by step. Flaps 1. These flaps move pretty quickly, quite like that. If I'm not mistaken, when we get to that yellow/green band here, The slats should auto retract. Oh, they don't? Okay. Not bad. So we're gonna take the flaps up. So on this right side, that's Oakland. And ahead of us is, I guess that's the Golden Gate. Okay, we'll continue our climb to 10,000 feet. Actually, we'll continue to climb to level 230. Long way up. I'm just going to finish up the overhead panel. Backs are on. We haven't turned them off. The wing lights can go off. Everything else is exactly where it needs to be. And this is San Francisco, folks. Let's head on outside, but let's watch your ears. We turn that down a bit before your ears blow. Nice. So I think that's the Golden Gate there. Meaning this is either Alcatraz or that's Alcatraz. I'm not entirely sure. But here we are, downtown San Francisco. If you ever played the game Driver 2000, you might be familiar with the airport. I mean, with the city. And I think this is the Oakland Bridge. I'm not familiar. But there she goes, on her way to Tahiti. I'm looking for that pyramid building. Lovely, wonderful. Nice view of departure. I think it was called the Transamerica building, and I thought it was meant to be here, but I guess I didn't install the scenery pack. I mean, I didn't think I was going to do this departure, but here we go. Or maybe that little bit that you see there is the Trans Am building. Yep, there it is. The I think it's called the Transamerica building, like a pyramid. Alright folks, so that is San Francisco. On the right side, maybe we can see a bit of the Golden Gate. Quiet, maybe my colleague can. Cannot also. In fact, I think we're flying right over it at this time. But it's not lit for whatever reason. Up there it is. Golden Gate Bridge. Very nice. Next time we'll fly under it. To 10,000 feet. It's just a joke, US government. Please give me visa. And the logo lights can go on to auto. And I'll wait for the airplane to accelerate to the cruise speed of 332. And then we'll work on it from there. So we're getting to the end of our flight plan at Gobs, following which there's no routing. So we're gonna give ourselves a direct now to, well, she tells you the lateral discontinue. We're gonna give ourselves a direct to SXC, I think is not bad. That's Catalina, POR. And we'll fly our... Is that a good path? Yes, it is. We'll fly direct to... We'll see her starting to make the turn. I'll assist a little bit with the turn. I'll hold the speed back at current speed of 90 knots. Let her make the turn and then we'll accelerate once again. Alright, so ETE has now been updated to 11 hours and 14 minutes. So that's a rolling ETE. So once we get to cruise and accelerate, it should give you a better idea of when we're going to get there. In fact, I'll tell you right now that we are expecting to get there at 1741 Zulu, which is 1741 Zulu. So you know that based on your time zone. And I actually don't know what the difference is for time between here and Tahiti. I mean the UTC displacement, if that's the word for it. That's where we departed. That's the runway 28 left and right. We did the 01 left sort of made an over left turn off the San Francisco area. It's a bit of a peninsula, which I wasn't aware of. Pretty cool. And now we're pointing the right way. I'll go ahead, close the speed window, let it manage itself, and she'll accelerate more, and we'll follow the California coastline for a while. Because we're heading eastbound initially, we're going to set the altitude to level 350, and once we get to Catalina, we're going to be flying west, so we'll climb up to even level. All right, we've reached the target speed, and it's settled at a nice rate of climb here as well. I think it's a good time now to send the passengers for wherever they need to go. No smoking, no PED is auto. The no mobile phone is on auto as well. All the checklists are complete. Very soon will be to transition altitude, and we'll set standard in the United States. It's 18,000 feet. All right, that's transition altitude. So let's go ahead and set standard. Everybody that's with us today. Standard for my ISFD as well. Good, folks. I think that's going to be it. It's been a really, really long departure. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't expect the boarding to take as long as it did. It was really something else. So I think we can check out some cool stuff here. Data for, sorry, active, position, time. You can see that you can set the UTC time difference here, you see, so you can get what the local times are going to be. So that we can find here under OFB under times and weights. So it looks to me 8:30 Zulu is 1:30 local, so it's 7 hours behind in Cisco. So it's minus 7 hours here. Minus 7. So that tells you the local time. Whereas in Tahiti, the difference is 10 hours. Still a minus, so we'll go ahead and set minus 10. And that tells you the local time. So we're expecting to get to Tahiti at 8 in the morning, their local time. You get different time markers, so it'll tell you the text and oral alert if required. So at the moment, there's no time marker that we need to set. It tells you we've been flying for 11 minutes. We've been moving for 23. What else? ETOPS. We can sort out some stuff for the ETOPS once right away. We can go to additional info. Or was it? Yeah, let's go to additional ATC flight plan. Or in fact, wind info, and then we can go up. And here's our ETOPS plan. So we enter ETOPS at 439 miles from Los Angeles. Find a way to go ahead and put that onto the flight plan. I think that would go under fix info. Yep, there's an equi-time point. Perfect. Reference 1 will be Los Angeles. And reference 2 is going to be Honolulu. And that should work out an ETP for us. Cruise flight level wind. Honestly, I don't know. We'll calculate on still wind conditions. And the ETP will be worked out for us. It's going to be 52 miles after Apid. But we have also on our plan based on with the wind conditions. So the entry point is going to be here. So we go ahead and put that into the fairly sure how that's done here. Go back to init, maybe flight plan, fix info, and fix 1 we can go as ETOPS entry point, EEP, which doesn't exist. So we are going to go and create a new one. Okay, I'm not really sure how we do it. So position, monitor, data, waypoint. Fantastic. We're going to call it EEP1. And we're going to set the latitude, longitude as required. So on the OFB, it says North 28112, North 2815.0. North 2815. And longitude is west 12346.46. 12346. That's our first waypoint. This is EOP 28 left. This is EEP, which is our ETOPS entry point. And we can make different waypoints accordingly. So today I'm going to make a couple. So I'm going to make EEP1, which is our entry into the ETOPS airspace from Los Angeles. I'm going to set the ETP, which is the midway point between Los Angeles and Honolulu. And then we'll set the ETP2, which is the midway point that's calculated between Los Angeles and Rarotonga, and then the exit point at Rarotonga. So it's one waypoint done, another 3 to go. Let's go for it. ETP1. Let's name it ETP1. ATP1. And you know what? If I was actually the captain, I'd have this out. Let's make it realistic. I would like to have also my keyboard out. And maybe there's some lights for it. So, lighting. Not it. Is there no lights for me straight on top of my head? My console map lighting on, but nothing here for me to see. So maybe the floodlights here would work a little bit in my favor, perhaps. No, I can't see anything. Shame, I really thought that'd be straight on. Yeah, I think there must be some sort of mistake. I'm sure I'm sure there should be some lights for your work table. Map light, console light, pedal lights. What does that do? You have lights for under your pedals, but no lights for your workspace. That doesn't sound right. under the Faku. Is that it? Nope, that's one. Nope, that doesn't change anything either. Let's see if we can just duck under a little bit. What does this do? Uh-oh. Oh. Bad idea. Clearly said on and off. I don't know why I pushed it. FCU. What's this do? Nothing. Oh no, changes the backlight there. Quite weird. Where would it be? Oh, interesting. Let's see if we turn on the dome light if we can find it. Now I'm on a mission. Okay, let me turn on this, guys. Maybe the button is on the keyboard itself. Well, I don't want to be with the lights on for the whole flight. I want something nice and dark and pretty. Lights, avionics, EFB, OIS, Captain OIS on center, nope. Lights up there, mechanic call, yellow, blue, green, orange, nope. Interesting, but I don't even see a... I mean, I don't even see a switch for it somewhere here. I can see it. Look straight ahead. Okay. Looking straight ahead. Now what? Are you talking about this switch? Oh, is it that one there? No, that's anti-skid. This increases the brightening of the FCU itself, of the blue lights there behind. This changes the... What about this? Do I have one here? Technologia. Okay, found it. Well, that took entirely too long. This is a terrible design for an aircraft. It's got nothing to do with pilot error. Let's turn all of it back down. Let's go back to romantic mode. YS. Slide down. Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I got it, Boomy Girl. Thank you. The black knob to the left. No, it's not you. Okay, but tell me, where did you see it? Like, you knew where it was, that's why you knew at 1000th level. So that's ETP1 that we're now working on. ETP1, North 1, 2. Let's wait until we... to the right there, you can see the Basra VOR. We're leveling off here shortly. Another cup of coffee is going to come underway soon. Mach, alt cruise. And we're going to maintain quick cruise briefing here. We'll maintain flight level 350 until we get to Santa Barbara VOR. At which point we'll turn on to Fiki, in which case we'll be next on to even level. So it's not too long to go. Santa Barbara is at 10:06, which is about 15 minutes. Heading the...
Gentlemen, we have reached our cruising out. We will shortly begin with flight 30. It is...
Okay, that's quite sorry about that. Yep, so we're not really interested in all the airports, so we're going first to Santa Barbara, on to Fiki, and then from Fiki we'll start our route towards wherever we're going to, towards Tahiti. No terrain concerns. The big thing today is going to be ETOPS, a lot of ETOPS en route. In fact, once we leave the coast of California, next time we're going to see land is going to be in Tahiti, and it's going to be a small speck of land. You're going to miss it, and that's it. Alternates, Ras Angeles, Honolulu, and Rarotonga, where ETOPS 240. Let's go ahead and finish off the rest of it. ETP North 1228.1. North 1228.1. It's there, and what is it? West 13327.6. West 13327.6. And we'll store this waypoint. So we have EEP1. Oh, it's supposed to be just EEP, but okay, ETP1. Gonna make a new waypoint. It's gonna be called ETP2. Take a look at ETP2. South. We're finally in the southern hemisphere here. 37.5. 0037.5. South 0037.5. Okay, that's 37.5 degrees. Barely south. Longitude is going to be west 140, west 14019.3. West 14019.3. Still that waypoint. ETP1, ETP2, and we're gonna now do ETP. No, EXP. So we'll keep the convention. We'll call it EXP1. On the OIS, we're gonna set south 1118.4. Sorry, on the MCD, south 1118.4. South 1118. And it's going to be west again, 14544.6. West 145.4.6. That's it. That is the last waypoint. So all the waypoints are in, and now we just need to store them appropriately. If you go down to the flight log, after Hilco we get to ETOPS entry and then APID. So let's go ahead and do that. After Hilco, next waypoint is EEP1. We can delete this. So this is what it's going to look like. And let's just make sure it says so on the plan as well. Okay, I'm not sure why I can't insert that. Why I can't actually go to that specific waypoint. How do we do that? Usually we just go down the flight plan and it works. Maybe I need to do it with a switch. Let's just use the buttons to go down. Yep, it is the buttons. So yeah, Fiki, EEP1, and the next waypoint. All looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and insert that. And thereafter it's going to be... After Big B, we're going to get ETP1, Sinto. Big B, ETP1, Sinto. Let's delete Sinto. How does that look on the flight plan? Looks about right, hasn't changed the track or anything. Looks pretty good. We'll insert that. The next one after is going to be Revro, ETP2, and Rutak. Revro, ETP2, and then Rutak. Let's delete that. And we can take a look again to make sure it's clean. Yep, we can see Revro, ETP2, Rutak. We can insert temporary 2. And then the last one is going to be when we exit our ETOPS airspace. It's going to be just after Robco. Oops, exit. The EXP one, I think I named it. Just after Robco. Yes. After Robco, EXP1. And then delete that. And let's just make sure it looks neat also. It does. It will insert the plan as is. Good. So the that's ready. Now we can take a look at some of the cool features that this airplane has. So we can see the what if doesn't seem to work. But essentially you can go ahead and say what if this happens at this waypoint, and how would we deal with that. So that should come under now status perhaps. Active position. Okay, so we'll change the secondary flight plans. So for secondary 1, we can import the active flight plan, and then we can do a what if. At EEP1 we have an engine out, and you can see what it does. The engine out maximum will be 118, drift down at good dot, cruise at whatever flight level, and they'll tell you what happens. So we will return, and we're going to change this flight plan. So we'll go here, and option 1 at EP1, we return to Los Angeles. And that's what shows up. And we'll just pretend it's a direct to Los Angeles, alright? And if you go back to secondary index, secondary 1, and then you say what if you have an engine out on the way, and it will tell you what level. So maximum engine out 188, so let's say we go down to 170 or 175 even. Drift down a good dot, engine out, maximum flight level, and blah 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 miles. So when you execute it, it kind of tells you, and this is what you do at depressurization. So we have options available. So that's secondary 2, San Francisco to LAX. We're going to import the active here again, and then we're going to change it from EEP1 if we were now to go instead to Honolulu. Just Papa Hotel November Lima. And then we'll close and delete that. And then we can take a look at the what if for this scenario as well. How did I do that? Okay, how do they do the what ifs? Oh yeah, secondary flight plan, secondary 2. And this is the one to Honolulu. What if we have an engine out at EP1? And then you'll say when you go to Honolulu, we'll maintain 165. And then it will tell you all the stuff. And depressurization 100. You just need to set up the init for it as well. So let's go ahead and set up the init. It has all the data already. Yeah, so the plans just go by, and they're kind of already ready to execute. We can see also in our case at EEP1. Don't know why the what if doesn't work for this scenario. Turns out they only work for the secondaries. What if? You can swap it onto the active if required. Same here. Flight plan, secondary 1, destination. So we're going direct to this engine out, EP1. This will be the maximum EA we can find. You can see what happens if we have the engine out at Hilco. We'll say it's the same. Interesting. Not sure why we can't do the what if for the active flight plan. Anyway, so that's most of the ETOP stuff sorted out and ready. You see ETP1 doesn't necessarily correspond with what she had determined for herself. So if you go here for time, and sorry, data is it? Reactive. Oh my gosh, I don't actually know. The very interesting airplane position monitor, nav aids, report. Nope. UNSS. Secondary index. Nope. I'm trying to find specifically the route. Okay. So I can't seem to find it now. But I managed to set up an ETP earlier. I think that was on the flight plan. EP1. This is one complicated FMC. Nav aids, active flight plan in it. Okay guys. I can't figure out how I did it. I did do it before. I'm gonna give it one more try. So we went to it's not right. We went to destination. Right, also navigate. We went to position monitor. I went to time. And I tried to calculate myself ETP. Anyway, we can set up a time marker here in UTC at 11 Zulu, which is where we're going to get to our thing. And the text is ETOPS. So she's going to give us an alert when we get to ETOPS. In fact, I'll make that 15 minutes earlier. And 45. She's going to give us an alert to let us know. And then we can do the other one. I mean, we should be monitoring, but anyway. And she'll tell us when to do the ETOP start. And we can set up another alert about 30 minutes before top descent. So we can set it at 1650. And we can say up descent. You give me an oral alert for that as well, and then she will alert us when we get to those times, and then we can see. It's pretty cool actually. Set up. They're looking for. I was trying to set up an ETP, so waypoint. Database waypoint. Okay. New waypoint. That's not it. Printer navigate waypoint. That is route. Alright guys, I did it once. I promise you. I just don't know how to do it again. And it worked out that the ETP between the two waypoints was at position APID when I set the two flight plans. But, yeah. Can't seem to figure it out. Anyway, that's about it for the departure and the cruise preparation. I hope it's been informative. I know it's been a bit messy with the co-pilot and the very long boarding. Nevertheless, we hope you've had a decent time on stream, and we'll come back in for two reasons: either if something goes down with the aircraft and it's not working out, or for the arrival. And I hope we'll get here on time for the arrival. And I'm waiting also for the next oral alert. I'm interested in that in 49 minutes, but we're not going to be here for that. And very soon we'll also change our cruise altitude. Will go up to flight level 360 once we get the turn from Santa Catalina. It's right here at the Los Angeles Basin area. In fact, there's somebody else traveling in this direction. Alright folks, thanks very much for joining me. Hope the stream's been informative. It's been a very long stream, and probably going to be taken down by YouTube. So yeah, catch me for the arrival then. And it's going to be in about, we have that there. How long is the arrival? That's actually pretty good. So I'm expected to come back on stream at, told me, gosh, time marker. Expected to come back on stream in 6 hours and 50 minutes. Just about 30 minutes before top of drop, and then we'll get to Tahiti at 17:42. Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy your flight, and we'll see you again the next time.